Welcome back to our channel, soap fans. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute madness erupting in Los Angeles. Grab your favorite drink and brace yourselves, because the drama we are about to unpack is hotter than the California sun. The collision was inevitable. Two fashion empires, driven by lethal egos, stolen legacies, and decades of bad blood, have finally smashed into each other at terminal velocity. The fallout isn't just corporate, it is a catastrophic, high-stakes detonation of the Forrester and Logan marriages. The battle lines have been drawn in permanent marker on the pristine floors of Forrester Creations, and the casualties are piling up faster than anyone could have predicted. Ridge Forrester has officially slammed his fist on the executive desk, proclaiming a ruthless new world order. There will be absolutely no more Forrester and Spencer intermingling. The era of playing nice is over. The era of blended families is dead. This is an all-out blood feud, and the collateral damage is going to be devastating. For decades, the Logan women have been the undisputed survivors of Los Angeles. They have navigated the most toxic, scandalous minefields imaginable. We have watched them survive ruthless husband swapping. We have seen them bounce back from devastating baby-stealing plots. We have witnessed them weather cheating scandals that would have destroyed any other family on the map. Brooke, Katie, and Donna have always found a way back to each other. They have always managed to forgive, to wipe away the tears, and to rebuild their unbreakable sisterhood from the ashes of their own mistakes. But not this time. This summer's fashion war is the ultimate poison. It is the one catastrophic event that threatens to rip the Logan women apart like never before. The ties of blood have been severed by the sharp blade of corporate espionage, and the ultimate casualties of this war might just be their husbands. Let us talk about the patriarch. Eric Forrester has survived health scares, corporate coups, and ruthless rivals. But nothing could have prepared him for the ultimate betrayal inside his own home. According to the latest explosive spoilers, Eric still has not forgiven his wife, Donna Logan Forrester. The wound is simply too fresh, and the knife is still buried deep in his back. The absolute devastation began at the highly publicized Hope Diamond fashion show at the House of Spencer. When the runway lights went down and the undeniable truth was exposed, Eric realized the horrifying reality of his marriage. Donna knew. She knew about Hope's shocking defection to Logan. She knew about the stolen designs. She knew Katie's entire master plan, and she stood by in absolute silence while her husband was publicly humiliated. The aftermath of that fashion show was nothing short of explosive. Eric, a man known for his grace and elegance, completely lost his composure. He shouted at Donna in a rage that shook the walls of the Forrester mansion. He looked his beloved honey bear directly in the eyes and screamed that she had chosen her sister Katie over her own husband. That accusation is a bell that cannot be unrung. The trust is entirely gone. Eric cannot even look at Donna without seeing the Spencer logo burned into her loyalty. He refuses to discuss any Forrester Creations business around her, treating his own wife like a corporate spy living in his bedroom. Their marriage has been hanging by the thinnest of threads since that disastrous night at the House of Spencer, and the tension is reaching a boiling point. This week on the CBS soap, the drama is going to reach a fever pitch. Eric and Donna are slated to have another deeply emotional, gut-wrenching talk about the fractured state of their marriage. Donna is going to pull out all the stops. She will sob, she will plead, and she will keep apologizing for keeping Katie's secrets. She will beg Eric to remember their history, their love, and the vows they took. But Eric is not the same forgiving man he used to be. He will remain a fortress of ice. He will keep refusing to forgive her, his heart hardened by the sheer magnitude of her deception. But the emotional betrayal is only half of the story. The physical violence has pushed Eric past the point of no return. As fans know, the corporate war spilled over into the bikini bar, resulting in a violent brawl. Eric Forrester, the legendary patriarch, was struck down. He caught a brutal punch from Will Spencer, leaving him with a glaring, painful black eye. That bruise is a physical manifestation of the Spencer family's assault on the Forrester legacy. It is a daily, throbbing reminder in the mirror that the Logans and the Spencers are actively destroying his life. Bold and beautiful spoilers tease that this black eye is the final straw. After suffering this ultimate physical humiliation at the hands of Katie's son, Eric is preparing to issue his wife a devastating ultimatum. There will be no more middle ground. There will be no more playing both sides. Eric is going to look Donna in the eye and force her to make the most impossible choice of her life. It is the Spencers, or it is him. If Donna does not completely and permanently cut ties with Katie Spencer and her niece Hope Logan, Eric will not hesitate. He will issue her divorce papers. The patriarch is ready to end his marriage to protect his empire and his dignity. Donna is standing on the edge of a cliff, and Eric is daring her to jump. Meanwhile, the chaos is spreading across the city like wildfire. Brooke Logan is finally returning to town. She has been away at a wellness center, desperately trying to find some peace and clarity amidst the escalating family drama. She expects to come home to the loving arms of her husband. Instead, she is walking directly into an active war zone. Brooke will return home this week to a completely fuming, volcanic Ridge Forrester. While his wife was away meditating and seeking balance, his entire world was violently attacked. Ridge is operating on pure, unadulterated rage. He has watched his family be systematically targeted by the Spencer clan. His son, R.J. Forrester, was viciously assaulted by Will Spencer Jr. His father, Eric Forrester, was punched in the face and humiliated by that very same Spencer heir. Ridge is seeing red. The man who has spent years trying to balance his love for Brooke with his loyalty to his family has finally snapped. The Spencers have drawn blood, and Ridge is ready to go to war. Brooke, ever the eternal optimist when it comes to her family, will try to play the peacemaker. She will desperately want to try and work things out with her daughter, Hope Logan. Brooke still believes that the mother-daughter bond can be salvaged, that Hope can be reasoned with, and that the Logan women can find a way to heal this massive corporate fracture. But her husband is completely and utterly fed up. Ridge is not interested in peace treaties. He is not interested in olive branches. He looks at Hope and sees a traitor who aligned herself with Bill and Katie Spencer to destroy Forrester Creations. He looks at Will and sees a violent thug who battered his son and his elderly father. Ridge's patience has evaporated into thin air. He is drawing his own line in the sand, and it is just as ruthless as Eric's. If Brooke wants to be with Ridge, she cannot play both sides of the fence. Ridge is going to corner his wife and force her to make the ultimate, heartbreaking choice. He is going to force Brooke to choose between him and Hope. It is a demand that strikes at the very core of Brooke's identity as a mother and a wife. How can she abandon her daughter? But how can she abandon the man she calls her destiny? Ridge is absolutely unrelenting. He will not tolerate a wife who comforts the enemy. He will not allow Brooke to sneak off to Logan designs to hug the woman who is actively trying to bankrupt his family's legacy. The ultimatum is clear, it is cruel, and it is non-negotiable. Ridge or Hope? Forrester or Logan? Destiny or blood? Brooke is going to be backed into a corner with no escape route, forced to watch her perfect life shatter into a million irreparable pieces. The stakes have never been higher for the Logan sisters. They have spent their entire lives relying on the unconditional love of the Forrester men. They have taken for granted that Eric and Ridge would always forgive them, always welcome them back into the mansion, always overlook their indiscretions in the name of love. But the Forrester men have been pushed too far. The theft of Eric's designs, the defection of Hope, the violent assaults by Will Spencer, it is a toxic cocktail that has finally poisoned the well. Do you think Eric and Ridge will actually stick to their guns? Are these empty threats born of temporary anger, or have these men fundamentally changed? The spoilers suggest that this is not a drill. Eric's black eye is a constant reminder of the disrespect he has suffered. Ridge's protective instincts over RJ have overridden his romantic devotion to Brooke. These men are demanding absolute loyalty, and they are fully prepared to burn their marriages to the ground if they do not get it. They are forcing their wives to cut ties with the House of Logan, completely ignoring the fact that Donna and Brooke are Logans themselves. It is a demand to erase their own bloodlines, to turn their backs on their sister Katie and their daughter Hope. The summer is heating up, and the legal documents are already being drafted. The Forrester lawyers are standing by. The tension in the mansions is suffocating. Donna is crying herself to sleep, terrified that her honey bear is gone forever. Brooke is hyperventilating, realizing that her destiny with Ridge is contingent on abandoning her own child. The House of Logan is thriving under Katie and Bill's ruthless leadership, but the personal cost is astronomical. Will Donna and Brooke actually get served divorce papers before the summer is up? Will we see the end of the legendary Brooke and Ridge romance? Will Eric cast Donna out of his life and his bed forever? The fashion war has claimed its corporate victims, but the marital casualties are just beginning. The Logan sisters are facing the darkest, most destructive chapter of their lives, and this time, there may be no coming back. The battle lines are drawn, the ultimatums are delivered, and the clock is ticking on the most explosive divorces in soap opera history. Next. It was always going to end in blood. You cannot pack this much venom, this much betrayal, and this much unadulterated hatred into two rival dynasties without someone eventually taking a physical hit. The Spencer and Forrester war has just crossed a terrifying, irrevocable line. A fist meant for a bitter rival has landed squarely on the face of a patriarch. The collision of fate has finally arrived, and the high-stakes consequences of this single, catastrophic act of violence are going to rip Los Angeles apart. The tension has been boiling over for weeks. Ever since Katie Logan Spencer launched her audacious Hope Diamond fashion show and arrogantly branded her new empire under her own name, the Forresters have been out for blood. The sheer audacity of Logan Designs has pushed Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan to the absolute brink. The corporate warfare has been ruthless. But nobody could have predicted that the boardroom battles would spill onto the sticky floors of the bikini bar. Nobody could have predicted that the ultimate casualty of this fashion war would be the physical safety of Eric Forrester. The patriarch has been caught in the crossfire, and the visual evidence is absolutely shocking. Will Spencer is a man on the edge. He is spiraling, volatile, and completely out of control. His obsession with his Juliet, Electra Forrester, has blinded him to everything else in his life. He is a Spencer heir acting like a street brawler, and his rage has become a ticking time bomb. When he marched into the bikini bar, he was not looking for a peaceful resolution. He was looking for a fight. He was looking to reclaim the woman he believes belongs to him, regardless of the consequences. But standing in his way was not just Electra. Standing in his way was the Titan himself, Eric Forrester. The patriarch of Forrester Creations has been inserting himself into battles that simply do not belong to him. He has been policing a romance that he has no business policing. When Will aggressively approached Electra, Eric stepped directly into the line of fire. He demanded Will back off. He ordered the Spencer heir to stay away from his family. But Will Spencer does not take orders. Especially not from a Forrester. The verbal altercation ignited instantly. Will, fueled by the adrenaline of a broken heart and a bruised ego, shouted down the patriarch. He spat venom at Eric. He called him an old man. He declared that he would do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and no Forrester was going to dictate his life. The disrespect was palpable. It hung in the air like a toxic cloud. The entire bar went dead silent as the Spencer heir publicly humiliated the legendary designer. Enter R.J. Forrester. The Golden Boy. The Anointed One. R.J. could not stand by and watch his grandfather be verbally assaulted by a Spencer. R.J. charged into the fray, stepping aggressively between Will and Eric. The two young men, already bitter rivals over Electra's affections, were now face to face. The air crackled with pure, unadulterated hatred. This was no longer just about a girl. This was about legacy. This was about the name on the building. R.J. grabbed Will by the collar. Will shoved R.J. violently backward. The physical altercation escalated with terrifying speed. Electra screamed, begging them to stop, but her voice was drowned out by the sound of toxic masculinity and generational warfare. They were chest to chest, throwing insults, throwing shoves, completely losing themselves in the violence of the moment. And then, the catastrophic mistake occurred. Eric Forrester, refusing to step back, wedged himself deeper into the brawl. He tried to physically separate the two furious young men. He tried to play peacemaker in an active war zone. Will Spencer, blinded by an uncontrollable rage, pulled back his fist. He aimed directly for RJ's jaw. He wanted to shatter the smug Forrester prince once and for all. He swung with all his might. The force behind the punch was lethal. But RJ shifted. The target moved at the last possible second. And the devastating blow landed with a sickening, visceral crunch directly on the face of Eric Forrester. The world stopped spinning. The music in the bikini bar seemed to cut out entirely. The silence that followed the punch was absolutely deafening. Eric Forrester, the man who built an empire from the ground up, crumpled to the floor. Elektra's scream shattered the silence. It was a sound of pure, unadulterated horror. RJ dropped to his knees, his hands hovering over his fallen grandfather, his eyes wide with shock. And Will Spencer stood there, his fists still throbbing, his mind desperately trying to process the catastrophic reality of what he had just done. He had struck the patriarch. The aftermath is a waking nightmare. The explosive new CBS promo reveals the brutal physical evidence of Will's catastrophic mistake. Eric Forrester is sporting a massive, dark, swollen black eye. The patriarch's face is battered. The visual is shocking, disturbing, and completely game-changing. It is a stark, undeniable symbol of the Spencer family's violence against the Forrester legacy. That black eye is going to be the catalyst for the most vicious retaliation Los Angeles has ever seen. Will Spencer has crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. He did not just hit a rival, he assaulted a senior citizen. He assaulted the head of the Forrester family. And the Forresters are not going to let this slide with a stern warning. They want blood. They want absolute justice. They want Will Spencer behind bars. Ridge Forrester is absolutely apoplectic. The sight of his father's bruised and battered face has pushed Ridge over the edge of reason. He is demanding immediate action. He is calling for the police. Ridge wants to press formal assault charges against Will Spencer. He wants the Spencer heir handcuffed, booked, and thrown into a cold jail cell. This is no longer a corporate rivalry over dresses and diamonds, this is a criminal investigation. Brooke Logan is standing firmly by Ridge's side. The matriarch is furious. She is completely horrified by Will's violent outburst. Brooke has always tried to keep the peace between the families, but seeing Eric battered on the floor has hardened her resolve entirely. She agrees with Ridge without hesitation. Will needs to face the severe legal consequences of his actions. Brooke is ready to see her own nephew locked away if it means protecting the Forrester patriarch and maintaining law and order. The betrayal of her own bloodline is a stunning twist, but Brooke is drawing a hard line in the sand. But what about Katie Logan Spencer? The newly crowned queen of Los Angeles fashion is facing the ultimate nightmare. Her triumphant Hope Diamond fashion show victory has been completely overshadowed by her son's violent meltdown. The promo shows Katie in a state of absolute, gut-wrenching desperation. She is terrified. She is broken. Katie is seen begging. She is pleading with the Forresters for mercy. She is desperately trying to smooth things over, to explain that it was a horrific accident, that Will never intended to strike Eric. Katie is throwing away her pride, throwing away her recent corporate victory, just to save her son. She is on her knees, metaphorically and literally, asking Ridge and Brooke to show compassion. But will her tears be enough? Will her desperate apology soften the hardened hearts of the Forrester family? The Forresters are fuming over Katie's recent audacity. They are furious that she named her company after herself. They are livid over the Hope Diamond spectacle that humiliated them in the press. And now, her son has physically assaulted their patriarch. The Forresters have every reason to reject Katie's pleas and drop the massive legal hammer on Will. The audacity of the Spencers has finally caught up with them in the most brutal way possible. Will Spencer's downward spiral has culminated in a violent act that threatens to destroy his entire future. Is he spiraling out of control? Absolutely. His inability to manage his anger, his obsessive pursuit of Elektra, and his blatant disrespect for authority have turned him into a dangerous liability to everyone around him. Bill Spencer's son is learning a brutal lesson about consequences. Dollar Bill might have the money and the power to buy fashion houses and stage massive PR stunts, but can he buy his son's way out of a felony assault charge? Can Bill protect Will from the united, vengeful front of the Forrester family? The irony is staggering. Bill and Katie have been riding high, gloating over their recent victories, weaponizing the media to boost Logan designs. And now, they are at the absolute mercy of the very family they have been trying to destroy. They are begging the Forresters not to send their boy to a state penitentiary. The battle lines are drawn in permanent ink. Ridge is not going to back down. He sees this as the ultimate opportunity to crush the Spencers once and for all. Putting Will in jail would be the ultimate victory. It would shatter Katie, humiliate Bill, and remove the violent Spencer threat from Elektra's life permanently. Elektra is caught in the crossfire of this devastating war. She witnessed the violence firsthand. She saw the man she loves strike her grandfather. How can she ever look at Will the same way again? The romantic illusion has been shattered by the brutal reality of Will's unhinged temper. RJ is going to use this horrific incident to cement his place in Elektra's life, painting Will as an unhinged monster who cannot be trusted around her family. RJ will play the hero, the protector, the loyal Forrester who stood up to the Spencer menace. Will has essentially handed his rival the ultimate victory on a silver platter. The fallout from this single punch is going to dominate the narrative for weeks. It is a seismic shift in the power dynamics of Los Angeles. The fashion war has taken a backseat to criminal charges, restraining orders, and the very real possibility of a Spencer heir doing hard time behind bars. The police involvement changes everything. Detectives will be questioning witnesses at the bikini bar. The media will catch wind of the assault. The headlines will shift from Katie's fashion triumph to the Spencer family's violent disgrace. The PR nightmare that Forrester was facing has instantly been transferred to Logan Designs. Katie's desperate begging is a stark contrast to her recent empowerment. She finally stepped out of Brooke's shadow, finally built something of her own, only to have her son tear it all down with one swing of his fist. The humiliation of having to grovel before Ridge and Brooke is going to leave a lasting, bitter scar on Katie's psyche. And what about Eric? The patriarch is nursing a black eye, but his pride is what is truly damaged. Being struck down in a public bar by a young punk is a devastating blow to his ego. Eric is not a man who takes disrespect lightly. He will undoubtedly support Ridge's crusade to see Will locked up. Eric wants Will to pay for the indignity of that black eye. Will Spencer is now a pariah. His actions have isolated him from the woman he loves, endangered his mother's new business, and put his own freedom in severe jeopardy. His spiral is complete. He is no longer just a heartbroken young man, he is a violent aggressor facing the full wrath of the criminal justice system. The Forresters hold all the cards. They have the victim, they have the witnesses, and they have the motivation to ruin Will Spencer's life. The decision to press charges is not just about justice, it is about vengeance. It is about sending a message to Bill Spencer that the Forresters are untouchable, and any attack on their family will be met with absolute destruction. Every single character is being pushed to their absolute limits. The tension is suffocating. The stakes have never been higher. Will Spencer's fate hangs entirely in the balance, resting in the hands of the furious, vindictive Forrester family. The next move will define the future of both dynasties. Will the Forresters show mercy, or will they watch Will Spencer burn? Sound off in the comments with your wildest theories and don't forget to subscribe for more explosive updates.